Hello everybody. So recently I've noticed that there are a lot of adult jokes and things that are meant for children. You see this all over the place. In video games, on TV, and most surprisingly in Disney movies. Now, most of you are probably thinking, well, that's ridiculous. There aren't any adult jokes in Disney movies. Well, if you're thinking that, that's just because you haven't watched any Disney movies in a while. Because let me tell you, Disney movies are loaded with adult jokes that no kid would ever get. At least, I would hope they would get. So let's explore some of those jokes, shall we? And just to clarify, these are things that are not hidden in the movies. These are things that are quite obviously there. There are actually a lot of science jokes in The Lion King. There are jokes about the gene pool, ecology, food chain, and so on and so forth. Though perhaps somewhat more disturbingly, Timon, the character voiced by Nathan Lane, complains that he has to save his friend's ass, though he gets cut off in the middle of the last word. Now, in one scene, when the Beast is asking on advice for picking up a woman, one of the characters responds that he should get her chocolates, cards, and a lot of promises he does not intend to keep. And then later on in the film, when they're all human again, the candlestick guy, Lumiere, has a scene where he spends quite a good deal of time staring at a girl's butt. Alright, forget all the teenager jokes. Are we going to discuss the fact that Ursula teaches Ariel to pick up a man using body language? Now, this is a movie about a girl who disobeys her father's orders and runs off to war in his stead. Now, this is a time when girls in the military would be executed, so she dresses up like a man. Now, Eddie Murphy, her dragon, makes a lot of boob and butt jokes during the course of this movie. Now, this is a more obscure Disney movie from the 80s. Now, one of the characters was a hobo named Fagin, who owed money to a gangster. Now, most people would notice that, even as kids, but what most kids would not notice is why Fagin's in debt. Fagin's got a bit of a gambling problem. It's hinted at throughout the movie, and in the end, it's shown for a fact that he gambled his money away. And it's not because he says something to the gangster. It's because at the end, you see him gambling with some friends of his. In one scene, the villain makes a sex joke that I don't think many kids picked up on, or if they did, they didn't know what it meant. And in another scene, which I know, or at least I hope, the vast majority of kids watching this movie did not understand, a couple of the bad guys' guards are playing a drinking game. This one is a bit more for my generation because people who were kids in the 60s probably picked up on this one pretty quickly. But Bagheera, who's the panther, is basically the conservative stereotype in the 60s, and Blue, the bear, is the liberal stereotype. Now, I'm sure you all know the stereotype of the sassy gay guy. Well, that's the villain from this movie.